What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Everton Extra. We are coming off a bit of a bitter night with Fulham yesterday. Tough one to take for all of us. Could have been better. We all wanted better, but unfortunately, it wasn't the case. Rhiad, how are we feeling?
I think overall, Matty, the game was just a poor performance from both teams, to be honest. I don't think the game was anything to shout about, and I don't think it was up to standards compared to the past few weeks, the past few games that we played. Um, and it was a different setup, which Sean Dyche was forced into with with Mikalenko and Doucouré being out. And just say,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Doucouré being out is probably going to be our biggest miss this season. And if the rumours are
yeah, massive.
3 or 4 weeks are
Yeah,
through, then it's a massive shame because we noticed that we said second half of the Burnley game how big of a miss he's been. Um, in the first half we were lively, energetic, created chances. Second half, I don't know whether that was more tactics from Dyche to be more conservative, but we did
yeah,
look a
yeah,
completely different team without Doucouré, and it's starting to show now.
yeah,
Um, and I really hope this is the start of a run of bad form without Doucouré because Dyche has now got up until Saturday to figure out how we're going to progress and move forward and
yeah,
go into the Spurs game without Doucouré and without Mikalenko because them two are probably top 4 or 5 players in our team. So it was just overall a bad performance from both teams, I think.
yeah. Well, I think it was definitely a bad performance from Fulham. I didn't think they really brought much, to be honest. As soon as Willian went off, they lost all threat. I thought Willian was brilliant, by the way, and I know we're an Everton channel, but let's just give him a shout. I think he's 36 years old or something, and he's still ripping the Prem up. He's
Yeah,
unbelievable. But I thought, yeah, Doucouré massive miss. Mikalenko huge miss for me. Mikalenko's been Everton's best player for the past six
yeah,
weeks.
I
Um,
agree.
it just, I think with those two at the side, you lose so much energy in midfield and transition in midfield with Doucouré. Um, it just becomes a super, super difficult job for everyone else in the team. But if I'm honest with you, though, nobody really played well last night. I thought Branthwaite played really well. He was the only
Yeah,
one out of position. I thought he did fantastically. But other than that, I thought Everton looked so jaded. I thought we looked tired. Legs were heavy. Couldn't get going. Couldn't get moving. Um, and really not up at the final third at all, which has been the opposite of what we've seen the past sort of 6-7 weeks. We didn't take our chances. Obviously, look, it is what it is. Penalties is penalties, and it's always difficult. But we should have won. We should have put the penalty away. I'm not here to scream hate at the players who've missed the penalty, but I've always said players who get paid the money that the likes of Amadou Onana gets paid, they can't be making mistakes like that. It was really
yeah,
poor. Um, and I worry sometimes is Onana a bit too worried about what he looks like
yeah,
outside the football than actually doing the job on the pitch because the potential he's got and the player he should be, I don't think we've really seen it. I know people love to say, "Oh no, he's been amazing." I don't think Onana's been our top five. Honestly, I really don't. I don't think he's been in the top five. And that's not us slinging hate at a player. That's just us giving our balanced view on it. For me, Everton's best players recently have been Pickford, definitely, McNeil, Mikalenko, Doucouré, and Branthwaite. They've been the top 5, 6 players. I don't think Onan has
yeah.
been anywhere near it really.
Tarkowski gets
Um,
a shout without a doubt too.
yeah, but I can't just name the whole 11. So what I'm
True,
saying is,
yeah,
top 5, top 6 players for me. Onan has not been anywhere near there, and really, his potentially should be top or top 2. And to make the mistake he did last night, really, really unfortunate. I was really disappointed because we'd done it. We got there, we'd done it. We had the advantage. We should have won. And the fact that the penalty was just so poor is a really unfortunate way to go out. But do you know what? Penalties, penalties. Um, really, arguably, did we do enough to even go to penalties? I don't know. I thought we were really poor. So the fact that we got a goal, as a fan watching the game, by the time 70 minutes come around, even though we'd made them substitutions, it just didn't feel to me like we were going to score at all.
I agree.
So the fact that Beto's popped up, that's another positive, by the way. Beto getting another goal. However, I don't think he played great. But he got another goal. So Yeah, just unfortunate, tough one to take. But I definitely agree with you. I think we've got a big job ahead of us with Mikalenko and Doucouré being out. We're gonna have to hope someone can step up to the plate. The problem that you've got though, Rhiad, isn't it, is we haven't really got a left fullback. So
Exactly. Yeah.
it's hard to envision who's going to step in there. Really, we've got a few injuries coming now, so now's the time we really need to stick together and try and grind through games. So
Yeah. Matty, what I wanted to speak about was it's been a bit of a hot topic on Twitter since last night. Obviously, you mentioned Beto there, and there's not many strikers in the Premier League who bag goals and are technically great on the ball. And you can harm me for whatever, but Haaland, as much as he's a great goal scorer, he's not technically great on the ball.
no, he's
Uh,
not. He's not.
but I don't think that warrants him being a bad player. And I think Beto's a very similar case. I think there's not much more Beto can do, in my opinion, now to start the game for Everton. 2 goals off the bench. Um, I think this is not me discrediting Calvert-Lewin because he plays a much bigger part than the eyes meet. I think he works hard, and the likes of Jack Harrison too, they both work extremely hard. But I do think some point soon Beto's gonna deserve a start because
Yeah,
he's scoring when he gets the chance, and that's what you need your striker to do. There's not much more Beto can do now, and obviously the argument's there for Danjuma and Jack Harrison whether Danjuma comes in, and it's the flip side. Danjuma's great technically, and we said during the Burnley game, and you agree with me that later on Harrison isn't technically great on the ball. He's a bit rushed off his feet. He's too quick for his feet, but the hard work he puts in just makes up for it. Whereas
yeah,
I
yeah.
think I think Danjuma is the opposite. He's great on the ball, but I think the only reason he isn't
Doesn't
getting
work hard
chances.
enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So the debate's always there, and the player who works hard is always going to get the chance before the technically better player, and I'm completely fine with that. But I just hope Danjuma can step it up and work hard. And I did think he worked hard last night, but I would like to see him and Beto get some more minutes because when they've came on, they've shown what they can do. So that's my
well,
stance on it.
yeah, I would agree with you with Beto. Also, there can't really be an argument because Calvert-Lewin hasn't scored any goals.
Mm-hmm.
So there can't be an argument. So really, theoretically, Beto's actually performed better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I agree with you. He should be starting. I'll be honest with you, Rhiad. For me, this Danjuma just haven't seen enough. Me, just
Fair
haven't
enough.
seen it when he's come on.
Fair
Just
enough,
haven't
mate. Yeah.
seen it when he's come on. I think he's greedy. Hold on, there was a couple of times last night he tried to cut in and shoot. He did it. He did it 3 or 4 times, and there were 3 passes on every time. There were three
Yeah.
passes on, and for me, I saw something today about the potential of him getting recalled. I don't know
Yes.
how true of a story that is, but I'm sat there and I'm thinking, if he did get recalled, what are Everton missing? And you can't pinpoint what we'd miss, which I think is a problem for a player on loan. If they're not bringing enough for us to then go, oh God, I absolutely don't want him to be recalled. If you're not thinking that, then I don't think you're doing enough. I don't think he's a dice player. He doesn't work hard enough. Like I say, I know he's got the potential, but we haven't really seen him do anything since Doncaster, Rhiad,
Yeah.
which was a long time ago now. So
Yeah.
for me, yeah, difficult to say Danjuma deserves a start. However, I would like him to get a start and prove me wrong. Beto, I think, deserves a start. For me, I want to see Everton finally play 2 up top. But I know that's hard with the shape that we've got and the way we've worked our tactics now with Jack Harrison on one side and Jimmy Garner pushing up the pitch with Onana behind him and stuff. I know it's a difficult type of shape. I want to see Schmidt more. I know I'm probably not going to see him. I know he almost got on last night, and I was a bit gutted.
Me too.
I was a bit, to be honest with you, I was gutted that he didn't follow through with that substitution. I said to my dad when we were watching the game, I said, why is he now not put him on? Because Fulham were never going to score again. They were never going to score again. So we really should have, for me, we should have put Schmidt on for those last 12 minutes, I think it was. But yeah, it's difficult. Jack Harrison works really, really hard, doesn't stop running. Gets a lot of interceptions up in that end of the pitch, which is important.
Yeah.
But as a right winger, a right forward, is he doing enough? Is he showing enough quality? Is he getting enough take-ons, crosses, chances on goal? I don't know. But I know one thing. I know I like him. And I know I like him in this Everton team. And I know he commends what Everton are about in terms of hard work and making sure you give it your all. And I think he does give it his all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I would like to see Beto start. I don't think Spurs is the game for him to start, though. I'll be honest. I'll
Yeah.
just say that now.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Spurs has got DCL written all over it, Rhiad, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think.
Well, I'll just go back to a point you made there about Jack Harrison. He's the hard worker, like I said, is always going to get in the team, above the one who doesn't work as hard, obviously. Um, but another thing on Jack Harrison's going to be beneficial for Everton now that we're missing Mikalenko,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well
true.
as Dwight McNeil. And I did think Patterson struggled a little bit last night, and I think that was partially because it was a back four and we're in a back five. I think he played well in the back five, but I think Jack Harrison and McNeil now really, really, really need to step up, which they have been doing, and do the defensive duties just as much as the attacking duties, because it's going to be really important now. And I'm not going to say Jared Brantwaite's going to struggle, because he was unbelievable last night and he didn't need
Yeah,
much help. But particularly on the right hand side, Patterson is gonna struggle on his own, especially against
yeah.
Spurs' attacking three. You know, you've got
He's
Kula,
not quite there yet, is he, Patterson?
exactly.
He's just not quite there.
You've
He's
got
almost there. He's got a lot, but he's just not the full package yet. He's not the Coleman, is he yet? He's not the
yeah,
Coleman package.
you've got the likes of Son and players like that who are gonna run as much as they want and take on players. So I do think Jack Addison is going to be beneficial for that. And I do agree. DCL is written all over the Spurs game. Maybe it's throwing Beto on the deep end, starting him against Spurs. Um, but it, I've seen arguments of
Don't
why that.
don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Sorry to interrupt you,
It's
Real.
all right,
Don't get
though.
me wrong. I wouldn't be upset if I seen the starting 11 and it was Beto instead of DCL. I just I just think it's more of a DCL game. But
Yeah,
DCL looked so unfit last night, and he
yeah,
looked so off it. So if it's better to start Beto, I'm all for it. And the one thing I actually wanted to ask you was, you seen how well we played at Burnley, right? Now given the due, Burnley's a very different side to Fulham. I get that. But can I ask, for the life of me last night, I couldn't understand why we changed shape from Burnley.
hmm
I couldn't understand that. I don't know why, when a couple of our best defenders are out in terms of Mikalenko and Coleman, and Michael Keane's having to play, who we know isn't full of confidence and is liable for mistakes, albeit he's played really well recently. But again, last night a Michael Keane mistake leads to a goal again.
yeah,
As Evertonians, how many times do we have to keep saying it? Why on earth did we change from the shape that was working? I can't get that round my head, Rhiad, to be honest.
yeah,
I feel like we should have started with Tar, Keane, and Brantwaite all together, and then thrown maybe Jack Harrison or McNeil left wing back,
yeah,
and then Patterson on the right. I couldn't get my head around why we changed shape and
yeah.
upset the rhythm of the side. I couldn't get my head around that. What do you think?
Well, that completely aligns my point of Patterson not playing as well as he did in the back five. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely spot on. Um,
yeah,
as much as Dyche's got it right in recent weeks, I just don't think he was in the right to change it yesterday from the Burnley game.
no,
I thought the back
no, I
five
agree.
would have worked
I
better,
agree.
considering the
But
circumstances of Mikalenko and Ducore and whatnot.
yeah, it's the Mikalenko loss. It's the
Yeah,
Do you know what's funny? A few
it's
months
mad that
back,
we're saying it. Yeah,
yeah, a few months back, if someone had said to us on Everton X3, Mikalenko will be your MVP, we'd have gone no chance. But he really is. I don't know what it is this year. I don't know what he's been having, but
yeah,
he's so good transitionally for us, and defensively he's a brick wall. So for me, I just think with that loss and presence in the team, can't really get my head around Dyche's decision. The one thing I'll
yeah,
give Dyche in terms of positives is, for a long time we were asking for earlier subs and he was never making them. He's learning, because I
yeah.
think I think he made subs last night on 60 minutes, 70 minutes, and 80 minutes. So
Sorry, Matty, can
I,
I just say I do think he got the sub spot on last night.
I do as well. I agree. Yeah, I do. The only thing though, I think the subs he made were good, but I was screaming for McNeil to come off for Dobbin after about 70 minutes. Can you tell me a time you saw McNeil in the second half yesterday? Because I
Yeah,
don't.
I
I
don't.
can't tell you the single time. Can't tell you. And I said that 20 minutes in, and I said we need to bring Lewis Dobbin on for McNeil. McNeil's
Yeah,
doing nothing, and that isn't Dwight's fault. That's because everyone was jaded. Everyone was
yeah,
jaded. Everyone was tired, heavy legged, and yeah, we just weren't involved in the game as we usually are.
yeah.
We weren't grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck, you know.
I think now we've got Dyche has got a few days, like I said, to learn to adjust the team to a team without Ducore.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's annoying because Ducourte's arguably been one of our best players this season. But another topic is Matty
yeah.
on Ducourt, Dele Alli, sorry, and we spoke about him on George's channel as well.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you think of it? What in that Ducourt role especially?
For me, like he not only is he a ready-made replacement, but that's his role. That's the Delhi role, the role that Ducourte's playing for
Exactly.
us, and he's at his best when he's playing that role, a transitional number 10. You know, kind of moving in between that number 6 and number 10 role, but primarily playing as a number 10, attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I've said it before. We said it on George's video at the weekend, which everyone will see soon. For me, the sooner Delhi's back, the better. Because oh my, do Everton need a player like that right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I look at Delhi, even if he's 50% of the player he was, Dele Alli in the number 10 spot in that Everton team with these players right now, that's a scary team, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary team, I'm telling you. And then, you know, I think Delhi could be the coming of Beto, by the way.
Yeah.
And I haven't touched on this. I didn't actually touch on this in the video.
Good point,
I
mate.
think Delhi could be the catalyst that Beto needs to start firing, because Delhi will serve those strikers like no one else does. And I want him in the side absolutely as soon as possible, purely because I think the relationship that Delhi's got with Sean Dyche could be the best managerial relationship Delhi's had. You
Special.
know, the way Dyche talks about him, the
Yeah.
way he speaks about how Delhi understands the game. Dyche is obviously very excited for him to get back, and I think Delhi's going to prove a lot of people wrong, and I hope he does, because otherwise we have to pay 10 million for nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know,
Well, on Delhi, like you've just said, that is literally the Delhi role. That Ducote role is literally perfect for Delhi Alli.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
look, Delhi hasn't played football in a long time. I don't want to sit here and say Delhi Alli is going to be Everton's best player because I don't want to put that pressure on
no,
him.
too
I want
much
him to,
pressure.
yeah,
Yeah,
of course. I want to, hopefully Deitch and I trust Deitch all the way with this Delhi project. By the way, I
yeah, me
completely
too.
trust him
Yeah,
to because of the special connection that they've got and the way he speaks about him is just it's great. Like it's so good to see. Honestly, it's that feeling of seeing your players and your manager have connections like that. It's up there with winning a game. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
hopefully, um, I think it's too soon to say Dele Alli comes straight back into the team, takes Ducourte's role while he's injured, and replaces him. I think it's going to be more of a we're going to have to adjust into this next 4 week period, congested period with lots of fixtures. We're going to have to adjust, find what works for us, and hopefully Dyche
yeah.
is working on that as we speak. Um, and just see what is going to work for us now without Ducourte. And I might be making it sound like a big of a deal, but it is. Missing Ducourte is a huge, huge deal for Everton. It's completely changed the way we've
Yeah,
had to play. Um,
yeah, yeah.
So I just wanted to touch on Daddy there, Matty. I know we haven't got we're short for time, so just to wrap up on this, I want to touch on the Spurs game and any early predictions or any thoughts you've got on the Spurs game.
I think the Spurs game is going to be a really, really tight game, um, purely because it's arguably the two hardest working teams in the league. coming up against each other.
Yeah.
Ange doesn't mess about with Spurs.
Yeah.
We all know that. We've all seen it. He doesn't mess about. If you don't work hard for him, you're not in the side. It's the same for Dyche. Both extremely well-drilled teams, both tight at the back. I can't see it being like a free-flowing, free-scoring game. I think it's going to be a very, very technical game. It could be a slow game. I'm going to go... I'm going to go 1-0 Everton.
1-0, yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, I can see Spurs scoring, to be honest. But
I can't just with our recent clean sheet form. I just think think we're going to carry that forward in the league. I think everyone will get a bit more of a rest, and we'll carry it forward. But yeah, you could be right. It's not like they haven't got the threat.
I really hope so, lad. I really hope so. And like you said there on Ange, I think we spoke about this to George when we filmed. I think this is like Ange and Dyche situation at the respective clubs is a very similar situation. We've got two honest managers, two hard-working managers.
Love the traits of both of them.
Don't think they're too big for the club. They speak unbelievably well. I do
back the players.
Yeah, I
do.
Back
the players as well.
I really like that Spurs team. He defends his players all the way, like you said.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw, which I'd take. Spurs away, coming up to a busy week, 3 games in a week. I'd take a draw all day long. Continue the undefeated.
Listen, I'll say it right now. I'll take a draw, everyone.
Yeah.
I'll take a draw, but I'm going to be a little bit optimistic and see a little bounce back from the cup exit. So 1-0 from me, 1-0 from Rhiad. There you go.
Perfect. Matty, as always, mate, thank you very much for coming on, and hopefully we're speaking again on Sunday. We're sat in the studio speaking about how happy we are after the Spurs win. But anyway, take it easy, mate.
Cheers, mate. All the best.